beats are the purest. Prove it, prove it.
Welcome everyone to episode 13 of the Smelly GOON1Es. We're here with our special guest today, Sonicronic. It's taking a while for these things to load in. It'll get there. So how are you guys feeling so far? There we go.
There he is.
Sonicronic jump scare.
I'm good.
Early in the season, had a couple of matches now. Good vibes, hopefully, from everyone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's always good vibes, you know.
I just realized looking at it, I think every team represented in the podcast has a winning record right now.
Yeah, because here's the thing, like we do nepotism things, right? Like we only take the winners. All the losers we set to the side. We only accept the winners.
What about every admin having a winning record?
Wait, is that actually the case?
Oh wait, no,
not HV.
Not HV, but yeah.
Oaks is undefeated. Me and Riddle are 2-1. Sonic is 2-1.
Well, Landsharks have their third game they still have to play, right?
True.
So
yeah.
We
have Landsharks versus Freakus. So
I think that's winnable in my opinion. I don't know.
If
Poi,
Landsharks win
this,
all of
you
it
have
could
to
be.
you have to make it happen, Poi.
Well, technically he really has to throw, is what you're saying, right? So HV can get a positive record. Because his record still isn't like knocked down. They go 2-1, and so do the Landsharks. Yeah.
But and I mean after last week, you never know. I don't think anyone had on their bingo card the Kittens 2-3 to the Hatsune Freakus.
I did not.
Really interesting game. So yeah, let's just jump into it. Like any teams that you guys have been like super surprised by, or anyone that's been like you got some questions about, or anything like that.
If I'm allowed to go, I would like to say that a bit of funny lore. Obviously, me and Seikana, we did a trade at the start of the season, and I did that trade with her, and I'm like, oh, I'm getting highway robbery here, and she did that trade with me, and I think she also thought like, oh, this is highway robbery, like I can't believe we're getting these, and I thought that their team would be mid, and they probably thought that my team would be mid, but I think we both ended up with really good teams, and I'm very happy about that, and I'm very like pleasantly surprised by the silly geese.
Yeah, I mean the Silly Geese have not had like really that easy of a schedule either. Who'd they play? The Basement Dwellers and the Isopods, and those are two like other good teams. So great like quality wins from the Silly Geese.
Yeah, they've had the second hardest schedule.
Oh yeah, Brad's doing his Elo sheet. Let me take a look at that. I haven't taken a look at that in a while.
These Anagi's have had so far.
Yeah, I mean that sounds right. Who's leading right now in the Elo? I don't remember off the top of my head.
Well, it's your team, but like not every team has played. I think if the Geese 3-0, you're still leading, if I remember correctly.
Wait, actually?
Like I looked at that.
Wait, how? Yeah. Oh.
Because it goes off
because we beat the Empanadas 3-0.
Yep.
I think because it goes off your opponent too. So if you beat a strong opponent, it swings it harder, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Gotcha. So like the Silly Geese probably won't swing as hard because they're playing the
Swedish Fish,
who I think are 0-2
yeah.
right now.
No, 0-2.
Yes.
Gotcha. But yeah, that's really interesting. I'm really excited to see some of the new stuff we're doing. I wasn't expecting Brad's elo chart, but I know I've been really cracking down on the stats, and I've been breaking ankles.
I did that last season.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it as much. I don't know if it wasn't
it was
posted
pretty
or what.
scuffed last season. Like I made it better.
Yeah, it's in.
Can you talk a little bit about like how it works too, if possible, like just based on understanding?
I'm not gonna lie, I did the math a while ago. I watched like
Okay.
some YouTube video to do it, but like it pretty much just takes into account the elo of both teams before, who wins, how much they win by, the map diff, and then
It is like
pretty much
exponents and division and
it's a plus minus pretty much. So like,
and then the question I always have on this is like, let's say like you take a team like the Moon Baboons who have lost 3 games. If they win their next 5, does the teams that beat them in the early season does that boost them, or does that not matter at that point?
It doesn't matter. There's
okay,
no
so it's only like
that,
what has happened up until this point.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, interesting.
So,
it's like
if the baboons end up going winless, then you'll still see, for example, what was it the Freakus who beat them week 1? They will still have a larger leap because later on, if they go winless, then the Swagasaurus squad will get a lot less because they're that low. It does not go back and change stuff before.
Yeah.
Okay.
And if they start winning games, for example, like they'll go up pretty fast because they'll have a big difference. Like the lowest right now are the blasters, and like the difference between the elo would cause them to go up a lot if they win.
Okay,
so
interesting.
the
Thank you.
upsets are rewarded really hard, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's good.
Like I mean, there was a 200 elo swing from our game.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which
plus minus 201.
Yeah, that's not the most. Was the Basement Dwellers game from last season, or not last week?
Was that 211? Oh my
Yeah,
god.
211.
Yeah.
I guess that makes sense, because the Kawadis won week 1 and then they beat them.
And it's because the Basement Dwellers lost.
Yeah. That's really interesting. Yeah, that's in a PR official, so feel free to look at that. I'm sure Sonicronic would like any feedback.
Yeah, and I update it usually like right after the games are played.
Yeah.
For the most part, unless I forget, but I've been pretty good about updating it so far.
Mm-hmm.
I just had an idea for another. I might write that down. That's gonna come up later. So let me write that down for later. The other thing too that I feel like I'm really excited about is the stats. Is I've been really cracking down on just tracking these stats for everyone. I usually do it at the end of the week, but I try to do it as fast as I can. I think currently we've had every single game has had their stats documented, which is really good. That I'm hoping by the end of the season to do like a breakdown and see who led damage per 10, final blows per 10, and then do like a total, like who had the most damage overall and stuff like that, and then do like mitigated. So I'm really curious because I think a lot of times when you extrapolate things that big, you can get some really random, really unexpected people rising to the top that you might not necessarily see in the kill feed as much. So I think that's gonna be really interesting. So yeah, like who's been surprising you in terms of players? Like anyone that's been jumping out? I have one off the top of my head, but
hit yours first.
Killjoy on the Silly Geese.
Yes,
that's
yeah,
one.
I agree.
That's one player where I think that no one really knew a whole lot about him. But like anytime you have like a high SR player off rolling, they're gonna show up as a lower SR on the sheet. So they're gonna be like huge value. Like Killjoy, for example, like playing tank. I think most tanks in the game don't require as much mechanics as like playing a DPS. So I think it really translates a lot more from going support to tank. You have that game sense, you have that positioning, and I think that like what is that, 850 for Killjoy difference between tank and support. So I think that's like huge value, but also like the rest of the Silly Geese are just really good, like value picks regardless throughout the board. And then you just have Akua in there too, so even if they don't have players like performing up to those big value pick SRs, you still have a Kua that can just decide to carry any given game.
That's totally valid.
I think Cray has also impressed me a lot on that
Cray
team.
is another one. I don't know if this was before the signups closed or not, but I was looking at Cray's like career profile, and it's like I think their DPS is like mid masters, which is like what they are in the not mid masters, like low masters, and their support is like top 500. I think last I saw. So Cray is another one of those players that's just like off rolling, and I think is really good value on their off roll. You guys have any other possibly players on your teams that are off rolling right now that you have anything you want to point out?
I mean, I always want to give a oh, you go.
No, I was just saying FSB because he's pointing to a specific player, but I have someone else that's surprising. I'll let you go first though.
I'm always impressed by Red Cactus. I'm not gonna lie. I feel like he switches roles every season, and he's like always very consistently good. So I'd say Red Cactus, and I gotta say for the funny bit of it, like Fatal as a rookie has looked good, and according to the admin team, Fatal is bronze. So I gotta say that he looks amazing. Inside joke with the admins though.
I was really trying to set up Brad to shout out one of his off rolling players.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, I don't really have anyone like that's truly off rolling that hard. Like Ari is a tank player.
He's gonna say. For the
I'm pretty sure Ari was a tank player before last season, and I off rolled Ari last season.
Oh, gotcha.
Off rolled Ari?
Yeah, Ari signed up tank last season.
I don't remember. That's funny.
I didn't even know that.
But I think for my team, like Fatal's been good. Fatal's only showed up one game though. I think
he's been showing up to scrims though, right?
Yeah, in scrims, yeah, and their game. But like I hope to get Fatal in more games. But so like Fatal's not bronze, so the rest of the captains and admin team. Yeah. But I think Voyager has played really good on both support and DPS this season.
Voyager is gonna be my shout out.
Yeah.
To like the surprising players, because I remember, well, let's see, Voyager on the sheets 3350 DPS and 35 support, and they're on the Zilla side, and I remember noting they had like a pretty good hit scan, especially for the SR, but that team never really get their feet off the ground for the most part. But I think it's also, especially just after going against the Others, it's just really annoying to have someone else shooting, like Voyager, when he's playing Lari.
Yeah,
well, you know. So
his week 1 Alari stats were crazy on Havana.
Because I think I casted that game, and I was not really expecting anything from it. I was like, oh, you know, he's a DPS and he's playing Alari, so he's probably gonna like click heads or whatever. But his ults were just so huge. Like every single time he had an ult, I think he got like at least a 3K. He was just getting so much value. And it's like that's one of those players that, like, I think definitely, like Riddle was saying, went under the radar. I feel like that happens a lot whenever you have a team that, like, maybe the record isn't as good, or maybe they're not able to win as many games. There's always these players on the teams that are like still have good seasons, but you just don't see it as much because you are like, oh yeah, you know, it's just the Zillas. So
yeah, I was impressed by Voyager. I think we scrimmed them a couple times or whatever. Yeah. But like I would be like in Tracer ones with Voyager because we were both DPS, and I would be getting diffed, and I'm like, yeah, this guy's good. So
I think part of it too, I think with the Zillas is I think they were a 7-man team, so I think Voyager didn't get as much play time as he normally would have because they were trying to like sub their players in and out. Yeah, Voyager's a great shout.
I also think another shout. I'm a big Tedium believer this season. I've seen every single map I've seen Tedium in. He's been playing really good.
Tedium bomb.
Yeah.
Tedium bomb on the Moon Baboons. I think Moon Baboons are underrated in my opinion. I just gotta say that. Like they're last on the thing. I think they're underrated. That's my take.
They're last just because that's how it started.
Yeah, that is totally fair.
Because I have a system. It's what I do with Pokemon, to where I put in the numbers in the schedule, and then it automatically puts it. It has like a back end sheet where it adds up all the scores that they have, and it that's what is referenced in the standings. And then once it realizes, wait, there's a change in the schedule, then it sorts the standings correctly and does that. So
Interesting.
like if I do Cody 3-0 right now, you'll see them. Now they're at 7.
Yeah, that's nice.
2-1-2.
Oh, that's
So
cool.
we have to manually do it.
Wait, so we have
Yeah.
we have like Paninii who does all the stats, we have Riddle who does all the sheets, and we have Sonicronic who does the elo here. And then we have War who like it's just War,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah, well, no, War's the vibes guy. He's
Oh,
like the
true.
cheerleader. But yeah, so I don't know if anyone else noticed this. I want to say I was with Brad. I was with someone, and last season I was doing a lot of the like putting in a lot of the win losses for the standings, and I messed up one game. There was one game that messed up, and the entire standings were wrong, and we double checked it, and we're like,
What?
there's one. I don't know. I couldn't remember who I was with. I could have sworn it was with you, but
last season there was like a map diff thing wrong. I remember
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Because we
What?
counted it at the end of the season. We're like
It
the
was-
wins and the
it was a
losses don't add up.
I was with at least one other person. It might have been 2 other people. But we had to go through every single game and try to find out which one was wrong. And then I think we were off by 2 maps. And we were like, there's got to be 2 that are wrong. So we went through, we found one of them. I can't remember which one it was, but we found one of them. We're like, we could not find the other one. So we went through the standings like 2 or 3 times. And then we realized it was because War's team played on Li Jiang when they weren't supposed to.
Oh.
Wait, I said that when I figured out there was an issue. I said it's off by 1 because there's one
Yeah.
that's wrong.
Maybe it was like War and Neptune that were there. That might have been it. But it was there were other people there, and I remember I was like trying so hard to find it. But yeah, that having to lose one of your map wins because Akua just decides he wants to play Li Jiang Tower.
I mean, we
That
won
was
Li
a-
Jiang though. That's the thing. I think.
Yeah,
we did.
it
Yeah.
Because I think it wouldn't have made a difference if they lost, because I think they were hosting or something like that. But yeah. What was I gonna say? Yeah, it's really nice to be able to do that, because now if you just put in the games, it's the fact that it does everything means you don't have to worry about that. Because if you have to do like 3 different places you put in the wins and losses, it's like there's so many potentials for error. So
That's what I usually did every season, not last season, but I would make sure that all of the diffs mattered. Like at the end of the season, like when we're getting playoffs, I make sure everything's correct.
Yeah.
Like I have the calculator out. I'm just doing okay. So +1, +2, -3, stuff like that. But it's really nice. I remember, and Nadir just wanted it for Pokemon because it's a lot to do there, and if you can just type it in.
I mean, Pokemon has a lot of. I feel like there's more games in Pokemon than there are in Aurora. I'm trying to think. There's got to be more teams, and I think there's the same amount of.
There's more teams. There's more weeks.
So yeah, it's definitely would probably helps Nuttier out a lot more than it helps us out, but it's still very nice to have there as a little quality of life change, I guess is the best way to put it. One more player I wanted to shout out. I don't know if you guys have anyone else to shout out. I think this is a player that I think we knew last season was going to be good, but I think for their SR, like especially comparing to players around them, I think that they are still like a really good value for their SR. It's Sky. I think this guy like got overshadowed last season by AST, but he's like insane. I know Riddle. We scrimmed the quaddies, and Riddle was so mad because he does not like playing against Sky.
Yeah, it's just like crazy hit scan at half the time. It's I don't remember what it was. Maybe it was Widow or something, but I was molding like so hard, and
like Sojin Tracer or something like that.
It was like Soldier Tracer, and he would just try to hard mark me, so I just try to hard mark him basically the whole time, and like just try to take him out of the fight. But I wouldn't be able to kill him half the time because I can't hit the shot on him.
Yeah.
But it's like I'm taking him out of the fight, I guess, which is value.
Yeah, Sky single-handedly carrying the Boomer team.
That's true.
The Boomer team. Yo, Firestar Boss take, by the way. The Boomer team that loves to boom. He paid me to say this on broadcast, so I gotta say it.
I mean, I don't know. Wait, let me see.
I feel like that team kind of booms.
I don't think EJ booms. I think EJ doesn't.
I don't think EJ doesn't.
I don't think Nadir doesn't. EJ doesn't.
EJ might get disappointed in himself, but I don't think EJ booms or anything.
I think that's still a boom. I think that's still a
But
boom. You know.
I mean, I do think that's definitely Unk status team for sure.
True.
Corey building Unk
Yeah.
team part 2.
Featuring
Best team.
Sky.
Featuring Sky. Yeah, wait, who was?
Nadir
I guess it was just
Nadir,
Corey
do you
moving over
boom?
on last Unk team.
I stand on business. I stand on business with this take.
I feel like Nadir doesn't boom because I feel like I could just see him whipping out the Life Weaver and being like, "Trust me, guys." Like,
I think that's a
He did on
boom. I think that's a
pre-CO.
boom. Surely.
He said no. He said no. He does not boom.
yeah, I think he's always locked in, I guess.
That's like, yeah. I think Nadir whipping out the Life Weaver is equivalent to Jack whipping out the Mercy, and I think if Jack whipping out the Mercy is a like boom tilt pick, I think that Nadir whipping out the Life Weaver is a boom tilt pick, in my humble opinion.
No, he just plays it in dive. Nadir really likes it in the dive.
They have like set plays they play the Nadir with. I think. Oh my God, what was it? It was I think Frogus last season. I think he started to whip out the Life Weaver, and I think he's like grinding it now. Like he's actually committing to the Life Weaver. I thought it was gonna be like a one-off.
He's committed to
but...
it for a while. Committed to it for a long time.
Yeah, but I feel like the Frogus was the first time I saw it.
Frogus, dude, he was crazy
much.
on the Life Weaver. Like every single tree was value on the Frogus game. I think I cast that game. I think or watched it passionately.
They played it on circuit. Nadir, remind me. You had a different tank that wasn't Chloe when you played that map, right?
We're gonna have to wait like 3 to 5 business days for this response. By the way,
I think they had Chloe on DPS, and they put someone on tank, and their tank played like super aggressive. They played like Rhine on circuit or something like that. They were playing really aggressive, and then Nadir would just life grip them out.
They probably would it be Dante
It was
Fan
Nadir.
Fan?
That was it. It was Charbotron was the one of the Life Weaver, and then Nadir was on the Rhine, and then Nadir was going really aggressive, and that's what it was for sure. But. Yeah, Nadir played Weaver on Bunger Brigade. I'm switching those. I was thinking of Charbotron. That makes sense.
I think they like Weaver Fire Barraged us in the playoffs or something like that. I don't remember exactly. It might have been like some tree interaction, but I remember playing against his Weaver, and I think it was Jack on Farah for the Tigers, and we lost that map.
Like Jack on the Farah?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. It was Melon Doomfist.
Oh,
because it's the Jack Yak team with Melon Boost.
I see what you're saying. Gotcha. I was thinking of. I think you said the Tigers. So I was thinking
he was on the Magic Tigers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Tigers were playing their team.
Yeah, I got it now. I got it. It's connect. The dots have connected for me. So like in the games this season, are there any that like? What are your guys' big games so far? Which ones have you been most surprised or excited about?
I mean, everybody's gonna say the South Korea Kittens 2 Meow or Never versus the Hatsune Freakers.
I've mentioned this before. So like Hatsune Freakers, they have Poi who's GM on tank, and it's like obviously if you have the opportunity to play Poi on tank, you just play him on tank. I know those first 2 maps they didn't have Bucket, and if they don't have Bucket, they can't run a valid lineup with Poi on tank. But I still think
we went over it. They can run I think Tuki DPS and
pneumonia support. Something.
Yeah, something like that. There's like one lineup that they can do.
Because if I remember correctly, I think they ran Tuki tank, and then Poi played support the first map, and then Poi played DPS the second map.
Yeah.
Which I think that's not as good as their main lineup they run, but at the same time, I still feel like they still should be losing those maps. So that's still like kind of surprising.
The maps after Bucket came back, like they were winning those maps, but like they were still like competitive.
Yeah,
and the last one especially, like.
Yeah.
So I mean, I feel like I think Bucket coming back and then being able to run that their main comp with Poi on tank is better for them. But like you're saying, I still feel like the fact that that's competitive either says something really good about the Kittens or something really bad about the Freakus. I do feel like the Kittens. I think we were talking about this a little bit before the podcast. I think they're getting slept on. I'm a Kittens believer.
I think it's a little bit of both of what you said.
Yeah.
Like,
I think they're the best 0-3 team right now.
That's fair.
The Freakus have played 2 games, and I think they're like 2 of the lowest like
They are currently
Elo
the
on
number
my
13 and number 14.
Yeah.
So,
I
like,
think it. Well, it
I
kind
just
of
need to
has
see
to be
them.
some of both, right? Like mathematically.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Like just like first, like looking at the teams, like we have to attribute to some of both, and then according to Sonic's system, like it has to be because
Well,
it
yeah, but-
forces itself to comply with the results. You know.
Yeah, I just want to see them play like
But it was
a
close.
top half team.
So
Like,
But it was
I,
also
PR
close.
wise,
Like it was 3-1 with Baboons week 1, and then we
Yeah.
saw how close the kids one was.
I do think, I don't know if week 3 is going to give us the best game for the Freakies, but I think that is going to give us some more information because the Land Sharks right now are 8. So they're not like a top half team either, but I think they are like they're still like competitive. Like they're not like a bad team. So I think like if the Land Sharks are still making it difficult for the Freakies, I think that's going to be like, okay, you know, maybe we need to talk about the Freakies, but if the Freakies like come out and they just play really well that game, then like maybe that's just they were goofing around a little bit too much first 2 weeks, which I could see that too, but surely. Yeah, like another one is I feel like I'm gonna be the one to bring this up. I think one of them that's surprising is the Ishikawa and Inazagi's versus the Swagasaurus squad. I think that honestly might be the best match of the season. Maybe the Silly Geese Basement Dwellers.
Yeah, I mean that game was also really close. I watched that game back.
Just in terms of how competitive it is, like the Izanagi, I feel like, are one of those teams. It's so hard to get a read on too. They played the Blahages week 1, and I think a lot of people are really high on the Blahage. And they've been changing their lineup a lot too. So when they were playing against the Swagasaurus squad, they were running a lineup that I think is really strong. So we'll see if they commit to that lineup or if they're still trying to have that flexibility. But next week they play the Coatis, who I think are probably...
Week. That's a good matchup for them to prove themselves, I think.
Yeah, I think that's going to be a big prove-it match for them too.
Their week 4 game.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. Because there's still some week 3 games left.
Yep.
Yeah, so their week 3 game is against the Quaddies, and I think that's going to be their big prove-it game. When is that game, by the way? Let me see. Oh no, they're all on Saturday. They're all tomorrow.
All 3 of them?
Ooh.
Yeah. They're different times, so I do think there is a reasonable chance we can get all of them prodded. But there's the Silly Geese Fish is at 6 p.m. And then the Izanagi and the Coatis are at 9, and then the Land Sharks and Freakus are at 9:15. So yeah, I mean we'll see. But I think I'll try my best to try to get them all prodded here. I think there's gonna be a couple of good games in that, and then there's gonna be the Silly Geese and Fish.
Yeah, we need the return
Fish
of...
sweep.
You think Fish sweep? We'll see.
You think Fish sweep Silly Geese, or wait, who?
No. Well, I was joking.
I don't think
okay.
if I'm being honest.
Sorry, I was like too checked out. I will say, I think if the Izanagi, like, it's a very possible situation that they can play their next 3 maps and only drop 1 or 2 maps. If they do that, like, then in my opinion, they're hands down top 3 team in the league, in my opinion. If they're able to get through the Quaddies, the Land Sharks, and the Blasters, and only drop 1 or 2 maps, I think they're the best team in the league.
I hope they better beat all those.
I hope, yeah.
I hope. Anyways, I mean, I feel like my headcanon right now is that Land Sharks are well, Cody's is like upper mid maybe. I think Land Sharks is mid lower, and then Blasters is at the bottom. So I feel like if they just want to be like
a top
4 or 5,
yeah,
like then they should be able to beat all those at least. The closest would be Cody's in my opinion, but also we haven't seen third games from a lot of those, so I can't say.
They need to figure out their lineups too, in my opinion.
I think it depends on the day for that team. I feel like because we scrimmed them twice, and it was like completely different scrims both times as to who was winning and losing.
So just you don't think the consistency's there as much for the Izanagi?
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, they try so many different things compositionally. Like,
yeah.
I think it's hard to like say like, yeah, like this time is going to be the complete same as the next time. You know? I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the fact they have that flexibility is also a good thing too, because like if something's not working, they have something else they can swap to. But for me, I am just a believer in Mardox. I feel like Mardox can just do so much on any role. And the fact
do
that
they run Mardox on the poke maps for like the maps or so?
DPS is where they run him on poke maps.
Do they run Moon on more dive then?
I think when they were playing the Swagasaurus, they ran Mardox every map on DPS.
Maybe not the first one, but
because he wasn't there.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what I've noticed a lot is, especially on Poke, they put Moon in because the new Moon is really good at. I think he's good at BAP and Zen. I don't remember what he was playing when he played the Swagasaurus, but
You played BAP.
yeah. So like his BAP is really good. So if you play him on a Poke map, he can just do so much damage, and then you have Mardox is still there on like Sojourn or whatever.
Didn't he
so
have
that's
a
like
Zen
scary.
highlight?
They probably switch back and forth. I would guess.
Yeah, I thought I remember seeing a Zen highlight from Moon on the video.
he was
EJ made.
playing
Yes,
Zen.
there was,
He was
yep.
playing Zen.
Yeah.
Because then Wrecked Cactus, I'm guessing, is playing the BAP. That makes sense too. And then when they do that too, they put Tommy Slat on tank, and Tommy Slat was like playing tank. I think at least all maps except for maybe one map last season on the Apes. So we know Tommy Slat is very capable on tank. So like that, I feel like on paper, I think that is a very good team. I think like kind of like Sonic was saying, it's like just being able to iron out everything, get their comps down, and play a little bit more consistently. I think that could be a really scary team. Anyone else? I'm also really curious about the Basement Dwellers. Like, I feel like they're good.
I think they're good.
I think they're good.
Yeah.
Melon and Foost, like
they're top 3 in my opinion right now, and like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
They could be 3. They could be higher.
We'll see. I maybe it's just that I haven't watched very many Basement Dwellers games. I've seen a lot of games from like almost every other team, but I think the Basement Dwellers, I haven't seen a ton of, and I think that's the main one. The Fish I haven't seen a ton of. So when I make my judgments on the Fish, it's just going off of their previous games, which, like, how'd they drop a map, or how did they take a map of the Blahages?
I kind of forget.
I think it was Nambani. It was, I don't remember what happened.
Oh yeah. Wait, was it? Wait, yes,
Yeah.
I think.
Oh wait, you're the team. You should know.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say, yeah. We just couldn't cap. Like, I think we might have won time bank, but we just couldn't cap at the end. I think.
Were you in that
I don't
map?
know. I think we started out on a really bad, like, we were between Diva and Winston. I think that's like one of the hardest like decisions, because like once you commit to it in like overtime, it's tough to like recover from that. And I feel like we committed wrong there. We should not have committed to the whatever we committed to, I think. And we just wanted to like play for ultimates, and we had a really bad last fight. We chalked it up to a really bad last fight, sent us to Watch Point Gibraltar, and we like played the exact same thing, and it worked out just fine. You know.
So basically everything went wrong.
Yeah, I mean, it was still like an issue in my opinion. Like, we still had issues we needed to iron out there, but like, I don't know. After that match, I was like, I literally asked my team. I was like, "Are you guys confident in doing the exact same thing over again?" And every single person was like, "Yeah, let's run it. Like, I'm not scared." And they weren't scared, and it worked out.
I feel like part of it too is, especially like those first 2 weeks. So like a lot of the teams that have only played their first 2 weeks, that's kind of hard to tell with them. A lot of those comp switches, I think if you don't have a good like comp read and you have to make those switches mid-map, it's like can kind of really snowball your team sometimes too. Because like if you play a couple of fights and then you're like, okay, now we have to switch, at that point the other team has the ultimates, and then you can start to like lose control really quickly. So I think a lot of times, like if you're unsure of what to commit to, making those swaps can really throw your team off. So especially those first 2 weeks, it's like when you're not sure what you're gonna play, what you're good at. I think that definitely could catch some people off guard. So I could see that, like early week, you know, Blahaj is dropping a random map. But
BBQ is back. I just saw another say that.
Like I said, I haven't seen a lot of their games, but I have heard a lot of people, specifically I've heard Nuttier a lot talking about BBQ and how he's very good this season.
They did just lose to them as well.
Yeah. So I mean, you probably saw it firsthand, but that's another player that I think for his SR he could be very good value. I want to say, what was he, like 3,300 or something like that?
30, isn't it 3450 DPS?
Yes, and 3.4 tank if they need it, but you have Melon, so you don't need it.
Isn't he like Masters GM support, something like that?
Wasn't it like 36?
He can't play support this season.
Yeah,
anyways,
I know they took him off to go lower in the draft.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Isn't he like a support, like very high SR player that's off rolling this season? If I remember correctly, I don't know my.
He used to be a Hog Duncan Zen player. Like mainly, he used to be a main tank player back in Overwatch 1.
Really?
But and a
Um,
hog, but used to just play whatever. So he does now.
What team did he play on? The Owls last season. That was his most recent team, right? 'Cause I think
Yeah.
before that,
Mhm.
he played on the the Shats season 1, and then the Sith season 3, right?
Oh, 300k BBQ.
Yeah. Because I feel like I feel like I was saying, kind of the teams that don't do very good, it's like a lot of the players just kind of get like overlooked a lot. So I feel like I haven't seen a lot of BBQ since I joined season 1. So those are the only 3 teams I know of him from, and all 3 of them were. I guess they weren't or they weren't winless, but they have like one.
They weren't that
one
good.
win combined. Yeah.
Owls had 2.
Well, those 3 teams he was on had 3 wins combined. So, but yeah. So I think that's like Melon. We know Melon is good. We know Foos is good. Bunny is like hasn't played a lot in this league, but I remember Bunny season 3
return
played
from
really
Noopy.
well. Yeah, the Noopy. And then Dante Fan, like I have no idea what to think about Dante Fan, because like I just don't have a lot to go off of. So
They played DPS last season.
yeah, DPS. I think did they sign up as tank this season too?
No, well technically yes, but they're on support main role.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Oh, their tank is their highest SR. That's what I was thinking of, but yeah.
I was considering picking up Dante Fan. They're very goated.
Yeah, I've heard very good vibes from Dante Fan. Big Josh Allen fan.
True. And Dalton Kincaid.
Yeah, Bills, I guess.
Yeah. Wait, can I get a take from you before we move on to the next section?
Yeah.
The next section. Do the South Korea Kittens win a game this season?
Yeah.
Yes or no?
100%.
Yes,
Like I said, I
100%?
believe.
Yeah.
100%.
Wait.
Okay.
Wait.
I have
Okay.
to look at the schedule. But...
Here's another. Write that down.
Do you want to do it now? I can write it.
Wait. Did I?
Now,
No. Wait.
but-
I have to double check. I think that I did last podcast. I made the write that down. Kittens 2 Meow or never make playoffs. So I don't even have them winning a game. I have them making playoffs.
Oh no. Okay.
My hot and spicy take, and I will admit this is a hot take. I understand that a lot of people will disagree with this, but
Do you
this
want
is
to
my hot
write that
take.
down?
No, because I said they make the playoffs, so I don't want to double up in my Kittens belief. I think they are going to. Let me just double check the schedule if I was looking at this right. 1, 2.
I think the easiest games are week 7 and week 8, in my opinion.
I think the Kittens are going to finish 4-4. That's my
What?
hot and spicy take.
Do you have them beating us?
Maybe. No, I have them beating the silly geese. I
think if the Sonic, if Panini has them beating you, I'm gonna be so real. I'm gonna be so real.
I think they have potential to upset teams, and like the week 7 and 8, like I think they are probably going to be favored to win those 2 games. And I could see upset potential week 6 and week 4 versus the Empanadas and the Quaddies.
I think mainly 7 and 8 for me.
That's what I'm saying is I understand that a lot of people are gonna
Brad just
aren't
wanted
as
to
high
admit
on the
he's scared of the
Kittens, but
cats.
that's why I'm like, this is my hot take. I am committing to that being my hot
I'm
take.
down to go down as the biggest hater of all time and say it is totally possible that they lose.
I think Chloe is in the same.
It's possible, but I don't think it's
Yeah.
happened. It just depends on if they're able to hold on.
I
if
think
they
Chloe
don't do
is in
well,
the
I
same
don't know.
hold on
position
last
as,
week.
Randy. I think Chloe could just hard clutch any game. And then I think like Goku and Paige as a backline isn't bad. You have Nort, I think, is decent on the tank, able to play like Ram. We could get into a Ram meta. Actually, I could use this as a segue here. And then they have I'm blanking right now. Topaz. I think Topaz is also pretty good for his value. But I'm gonna use this as a segue. I think the Kittens have the potential to upset anyone because we are getting into a new meta change. So are you guys excited about the new meta change?
We don't know the patch.
Not really.
Yeah.
I don't know what. I don't know what it's
gonna be perks. The perks. Let's talk about the perks. I don't know how much research you guys have done on the perks, but surely they're gonna have some effect on the meta, right?
Probably, but no one will know what to do.
Yeah. I
I
think
feel
that's
like most people are just gonna play comfort for a while.
Yeah, I don't know.
I think that's gonna be one of those where it's like if you have a team that like reads the meta very well early, I could see them like jumping out and like being able to catch some teams off guard. So the perks I think are scheduled to release before week 4, if I remember correctly, and that's
it just depends on it. It literally just depends on if someone schedules for the 17th. If they don't, then the patch is coming out the 18th. So
I feel like by now. Well, we'll see. Some people will do very last-minute scheduling, but I think we have, 2 games scheduled already, and they're both kind of towards the end of the week. So I am not expecting anyone to have them scheduled by then.
I know. So, at least my headcanon with what we're going to do with perks, at least I'm pretty sure Paninii and Brad would agree with this, that perks we don't even know if we can turn it off in custom games or not. First of all, that's its own thing, right? I assume we can because of how we're able to change a whole bunch of stuff, anyways.
Yeah.
But if we can, and there's a game on the 17th, I want to include it week 5, so it starts on a whole week and not in the middle of a week, if that needs to be done, if it's possible as well. And I'm gonna just include it because it's sort of a part of the game now. It's in quick play, it's in comp, it's a whole bunch of stuff. It's implemented in the pro scene immediately, and the pros are happy about it. But you can't really escape it. If you scrim, you have to have it with perks. You can't play it without it, and it's just a core part of the game now. So we're planning on including it at least right away in the stipulations, like what I was saying.
I think in general, if it's possible, most leagues I think will do it where that week has to have the same rules throughout. So it's like if you have it split in the middle of the week, then you have to start it to next week. But like we said, it might not be possible. So if there's one game that's played on the 16th that does not have perks, but we can't disable it, then the other ones just have to be played with perks, just because that's
it's just it is. Yeah.
Ari's asking about hero bans. I'm
hero bans. So first of all, hero bans is season 16 in Overwatch. It is not this coming Tuesday, but it is the season afterwards, which is going to be introduced with Freya as well as Stadium, and that should take place like April 23rd, which is around when we want to have grand finals anyways. So that system, at least in that, is going to happen a little bit after the grand finals or something like that. And so we haven't talked about hero bans at all yet as an admin team because we've got time. So
and then even if we have the option of doing hero bans, I'm not 100% sure if we are going to do that in Aurora.
Other leagues have done it.
Yeah,
we literally just have it. I know there's plus and minus. Both me and Brad played in Kitsune as well, where they had it, and there's the pros, there's the cons, right?
Yeah.
But
I feel like it's weird in a league where SRs are more distributed. Is it it's definitely different there?
Target banning, I feel like, is also kind of rough because there's a lot of players that want to play Aurora just so they can play their comfort heroes and stuff like that. But
I feel like
you go.
I was gonna say I feel like if we want to keep our league for fun, that's that's drawing.
Competitive.
I guess. Yeah, you know what I mean. Have both aspects. That's drawing a little bit more towards the competitive aspect.
Yeah.
And
if you banned Mercy for me on my first season, I would have been cooked. I would have literally had no character to play because I didn't play the game.
But I remember at least in Kitsune, there weren't many target bans, at least from what I remember on my team around that gold. But it's also because it's a lot of the teams were sort of flat. Sure, we don't want to play against Maga, against Dab Masters 66 on Pepperonis. We don't not want to do that at all. But so it's not sort of target, but it's sort of just we don't want to have to mirror that on a certain map. So
I know when I played in the League of Legends season, it was exclusively target banning Orion. So yeah, it's that's one thing that can come up, and it's I get that's really frustrating if you're just trying to play the league to have fun, and then you just get all your heroes you play ban. But yeah, I guess that's not even a conversation until next season. I think this season it's we're just gonna stick with what we have now in terms of that.
But it's a good question. Dab Master. Because I know a lot of people at least are confused about the roadmap because it's weird how they shut off everything, and if you weren't really close attention, it sounds like it's all really once.
Yeah.
Sort of, where it's like, you have perks and stuff. Corey thought that perks were coming in Season 16 as well, and I was talking to him last night. So it's like here, and because he thought hero bands were going with it, but hero bands are like Season 16 with Stadium and Freya, and Season 17 is map voting, and then Season 18 or whatever. The next one after that is Aqua. They added Randy to the game.
Yeah, true.
Yep.
So with the perks, I don't know how
you
much
need
you
a
guys
road
have been
graph.
looking at the perks so far yet. Are there any that like stand out for you as like this is gonna be like super broken? Like I get we don't have the full numbers, but
Oh, you go, Sonic.
No, I was just gonna say I would have to pull it up.
Oh yeah, I'll say like just like
want.
about perks in general. I feel like it's just gonna like, and I know it might not actually completely shift the meta. I feel like it's gonna completely shift the meta because I feel like, in my opinion, it's incentivizing players to stick on a character for longer, and it's also incentivizing players to not pick based off of 2 to 3 abilities, but 2 to 3 abilities plus the meta around how much XP you can get to build the perk, plus how good each perk is individually. And to be fair, I haven't looked at all the perks either. I don't know every single perk off the top of my head, but I know for a fact that some perks are just going to be better than other perks. That's just how it's going to be.
Well, yeah,
and some characters are going to be better because of that.
But I feel so. In essence, because how you go from like level 3 if you're max to level 0, if you just completely swap, it's sort of nerfs counter swapping in a sense like that. If you just like still going against it, because if they're higher level, then they will still be like have an advantage over you like that. But I feel like a lot of the time people sort of forget that it takes a while to build up these abilities. I mean, I haven't seen a whole bunch, but I was just watching like I think first game on it. He was playing Juno, and it took like 6 or 7 minutes of a 10-minute push map or whatever. There's 3 minutes left. There's 3 minutes left of a push map, and he got his level 3 Juno at that point. So it's like you're not gonna have the ability for like a super long time on stuff like that. So you have to think about it like that, and on stuff like escort and hybrid where the sides flip, it resets in between the flips.
Yeah.
As well. So you're gonna have even less of a time like that. Where in like Koth, you're gonna have it throughout because there's everyone sort of battling the same. But it's not just like you spawn in and just be like, yeah, I want this. It's not like GOON1Es lab like that or Stadium coming up. Don't you only go down one stage if you swap? Yeah, you go to 0 or whatever it was at the time. So if you are like level 3 on Diva, then you swap to Ram, get to level 2, and you go back to Diva, and it's the same like half, or it didn't reset them like that, then you will still be level 3 on Diva with those perks. You cannot them as well.
Yeah. So I know you guys said you haven't looked at all of them. Were there any that you've like heard about? I've looked at all of them pretty recently, so I have some ones off the top of my head. So I want to know if you guys saw anything that's
Orisa Shield is back.
Orisa Shield is
actually
back.
Maga being able to stand on an objective and count as 2 people is so funny. It is absolutely useless. It like tells the Maga basically to set on points instead of pushing up, but I think it's just a really funny idea.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? The
one thing about the Orisa one is I feel like it's kind of weird how if you want to play Orisa for Shield, you got to get it to level 3.
Yeah.
So like, I don't know how that's gonna work.
It's definitely gonna be interesting.
The one I cared about the most was the Genji one, and I felt like
I was gonna say Genji.
I don't remember what they were called, but I felt like one option was always way better than the other.
Yeah.
For his perks.
Yeah, you all know what it was. So it's the level 2 acrobatics, swift strike, your dash resets double jump. Okay. Or you can jump again, but you can choose instead that your Dragon Blade swings gain 30% lifesteal.
Yeah, I think that's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then what's crazy is that you could put that on top of like blade twisting, for example, which is his major perk, where it deals the swift strike deals 25 additional damage over time. So like just think about with your you pop your blade, you get your lifesteal, and then you also get 25 extra damage whenever you dash. So it's like, that's just insane to me. And it's like, Genji's one of those characters that's like, right now he's good. So unless they actually nerf his base, like, I can't see a meta where Genji is not, like, perma-run.
I feel like he's not going to be perma-meta, but I think he's going to be good.
He's definitely up there, though. Like, he's definitely going to be
I haven't looked at the other
viable.
perks, but I know every character pretty much gets buffed with it, right?
I mean, there's some of them, like Tracer.
Tracer's going to be interesting.
One,
What's the
recall
Tracer
restoring
one?
all blinks.
Oh, that's huge.
That's insane because you can literally just go in and out.
Yeah, and then health packs also restore one charge.
Yeah.
So,
yeah, you go.
I was gonna say, I think the Tracer change more just makes Tracer more survivable, I guess, in general.
Yeah, but I don't want to see that. As a non-Tracer player, I do not want to see that.
I think another one that's really funny is the Ana nade bounces now.
I didn't see that.
It can bounce. Let me see exactly what it says.
I saw that on
minor.
It's a minor one, yeah. After exploding, Biotic Grenade bounces and explodes again for 50 damage and healing.
Wait,
that's crazy.
That could be huge.
Yeah.
But does it still Bionade people who it hits on the second bounce?
I mean, I assume it says it does damage.
Yeah.
It does not say that it doesn't.
Is that the alternative to the headshot one?
No, the other one you can have that on top of the headshot.
I mean,
is the headshot a major?
Yes.
Yep.
So groggy. So Ana's minor is that nade one as well as enemies waking up from sleep dart are slowed for 2 seconds, where it's like I feel like a lot of time you get burst from sleep, unless it's like a tank. But the major one is either she can crit or if she uses nano boost, it also casts it on her.
Yeah.
So I feel like the crit isn't even the best one.
I don't think. I was gonna say I don't think the crit is that like crazy good.
Yeah, I mean like if you're getting permadove, like I know some people nano the brig in like dire situations or stuff like that. You could just nano your backline. You know, nano on a nano brig. It's like they literally cannot do anything, especially if they couldn't do against nano brig before.
Like imagine doing that to counter the Genji. Like Genji gets his lifesteal, but then both the backline is healing each other and nanoed. Like that's gonna be really interesting. I like looking at the tanks too. I think there's 2 tanks that really stick out to me that I think are gonna be really interesting. I think Junker Queen could be really good. Like we'll see. Like that's what I'm not 100% sure about, but the fact that her Carnage does 100% lifesteal now, it's like you basically are full health. Like you use your ult and you're full health.
It's not the bleeding it.
Oh, I mean, still like
and that's
still,
the major.
Like,
no, I know it's still a lot. I'm just saying.
I think the other one is going to be the Shout. I think it's really strong. I think that's going to be one like it not just for ults, but it can get so much value in fights. Shout fully reloads Scattergun and increases allied reload speed by 50%. So it's like you get a lot more DPS and you get a fresh mag for Queen. I think the other one that's going to
reload cancel's good.
Yeah, reload cancel. I think Ashe also has something like that too. Ashe has a lot of
wasn't Ashe's like you shoot really fast with one of the minor perks?
Yeah,
on scope shots gain 30% increased attack speed, but deal 15% less damage.
Yeah,
I don't know if that's that good.
Or their Sidewinder, which just pushes Coach Gun like herself and he's away 20% further.
So it's a lot harder to dive. I think that also could be good. But I know her major ones. They're both really they both reload at ammo. So one of them is hitting 2 consecutive scope shots at a target deals 25 extra damage and reloads 2 ammo.
What?
So
wait.
That I think could be crazy too. It's like you basically you don't have to reload if you keep hitting consecutive scope shots, as you keep getting that ammo back and you have extra damage.
Yeah, I feel like the most annoying part, like when I'm playing Ashe, is having to reload all the time. So like anything to help that is kind of crazy.
Do you think that some of these major perks are like broken enough where like you can go and like force like a composition that's unideal at the start of the map just to win at the end of the map with the major perks? I'm thinking more like control maps or like flashpoint maps for this.
I think push could be really interesting because like you think about push,
you need to like charge up the perks in the first place. You need to play them long.
I don't think you can play like bad comps, but I think you could play like maybe a couple of suboptimal heroes and then just play a good enough comp around it that by the time they like level up all the way, I think they could be a lot better. So
Because
what I'm
if
kind
they,
of predicting. But
so you need to level it up, right? And that means you're eventually going to get to that point. And if you're losing anyways, then that means that the hero and that the rest of the comp isn't working in general. So
Yeah.
it still would work later on because you'd still have the perks that
guess.
you'd need to build up.
Okay, so the perks aren't like decided like powerful enough where it like would fully turn it.
I mean,
Like fully turn. Like if you get
we're
like.
just saying you can't. I'm just saying you can't save it up because you'd be saving up to something that isn't working if it isn't already working. And if it's already working, then there's no point to saving it up because it's already working.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I guess, yeah.
Fancy saying Zarya looked really good.
Zarya does look really good. Here's the other take I was gonna talk about Queen and Zarya. I think those are the two best takes. But before I do that, I was just scrolling through. I don't know if you guys saw Sombra and Torb are now healers now, which we were all expecting.
We ticked.
Sombra can hack. Hack can be used on allies to restore 100 health over 2 seconds. Torb is...
His hammer can restore armor health to allies. He can hammer allies to restore armor if they have armor health.
So like you imagine like a Reinhardt just getting pounded by Torb, like. But yeah, Zarya. Let me joke about Zarya. So the two that I think are going to be like much more often taken for Zarya are Graviton Surge deals 30% of enemy max health damage over time. So like think about hitting someone in a grav is going to do so much more damage just from the grav itself.
Yeah, that's kind of crazy.
And then you stack that on top of her major perk, which is Particle Cannon Beam pierces enemies while over 50 energy. That's just insane to me. Like
okay,
you get like a 5-man grav, the grav does damage, and then you pierce through all of them. Like that's gonna be crazy.
Yeah, imagine trying to push a choke with a charge Zarya after like you lost a fight. Like I'm just thinking of like Mecha Base, for example, like anything where like a really like small choke, that'd be insane.
Tom Shirley is memeing. He says grav perk sucks. Then he says way worse than the other one. Zarya's other minor perk, alongside the Graviton Surge one, is her secondary fire self knockback is increased by 75%. So,
I mean, I feel like it's map dependent. I mean, like if you really need it, it's like not bad. And I like how there's the tech where you shoot up and then it comes back down and you shoot a second one to go higher.
Yeah.
Like Bastion. I wonder how high you could go with that then. If it's 75% increase, it'd be kind of funny this.
Like you could maybe jump like King's Row, like the little area around that kind of. Or the area at first point. I mean,
that's a good point.
Fancy saying, I mean, neat perk, but not that great. I feel like a lot of the time.
I think Tom's trolling, but.
I think it makes Zarya better overall because it gives her the choice of the mobility sometimes like that. But I don't know. Yeah, it might make her playable in light hazards. You can get one shot to the high ground. Yeah. Higher than bat boots. I saw it tested. Tom says.
Do they have a soldier one?
The double or first?
Yes. They all have ones. Let me check soldiers.
Like the soldier have a thing that makes his rocket jump higher. Like I think that would be cool.
Oh, his perks are Helix rockets reload 15 ammo if they damage an enemy, and I'm like, okay. Biotic field healing has increased by 100% on critical health allies. That is really interesting too. He can reload while sprinting. Which
major.
I feel like that's good.
Yeah,
these are his majors. Yeah. Biotic can be used as a stim pack, increasing
also
attack speed and reload speed by 30% while being unhealable for 4 seconds. So you anti yourself, but you can do a lot more damage and reload faster.
So with the auto reload with run, it also makes you faster by 20%.
What? Is that not just crazy?
I haven't seen a lot of this stuff tested.
I mean, some of these are, I think, all crazy.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of the point, but I think some of them are crazy.
So did you say that your health like thingy that you throw on the ground doesn't?
Yeah,
it basically turns into util.
It antis you for 4 seconds, but it increases your attack speed and reload speed by 30%.
It doesn't do that to your team, right?
No.
It doesn't say that it doesn't do that.
Oh my god!
Imagine anting your own team. I mean, we don't know exactly how it works.
That would be so troll if it did that.
I haven't seen how it works. Nadir, can you confirm that's how the soldier major one works?
May's majors I think were really interesting too. So her minors I think are okay. Primary fire range increased by 30. Like, that's really interesting, but I think most of the time on Mei you're going to be close enough. Her ice wall duration and cooldown increased by 2 seconds. Like, it just lasts longer, but I think most of the time the ice wall gets broken. But her major perks are crazy. Secondary fire, so her right clicks, slow enemies by 15% for 1.5 seconds, stacking up to 30%. So you can snipe people from across the map and slow them. And then cryo freeze slows and deals 70%. So I think that's her primary fire. Slows and deals 70 damage per second to nearby enemies. So it's like it chains, is my understanding of it. Which is like, that's crazy, because you can get so much slow
So,
in.
Nadir says with the soldier stim pack thing with the healing, he says, instead of placing healing pack, you get the option to give yourself a shot. Then you get Curie Rush on yourself.
Imagine doing that before Visor, though.
But does it only work on yourself? Or does it work?
Probably.
Nice.
I would assume if it's like because they said stim pack, and I think that's more like you do it to yourself. So I don't know if it's necessarily even putting something on the ground. I think it's
Only
more
yourself.
Like it's my understanding, but you don't
Give
like,
that to Genji before the blade, guys. It'll work. Trust.
It's only yourself.
Ah.
And I mean, those are a lot of the ones that really stuck out to me. They brought back Roadhog's fart gas, which is good. Fars, I think, could be really interesting too. Her concussion sucks people in, so you can chain to that. You could use your conch to suck people in, and then you can get like 3 primary fire shots, and it does like so much damage. But yeah, I think that's a lot of the big ones.
Could be good. What was it? I thought I saw something about Scatter Arrow. Was that?
Yeah,
Scatter Arrow's back.
back.
Scatter Arrow's back.
In his minor. It says Storm
Minor?
Arrows split in. Yes, it says Storm Arrows split into 3 new projectiles on their first ricochet bounce 2 extra times. So it's for every Storm Arrow, I think.
Yeah,
really?
I don't know if it does the same amount of
spawns
damage.
in 3.
It's my question.
I mean, probably not.
Yeah, there's no way, right?
Surely.
But yeah, I think these are going to very much change the meta, like, by themselves. There are going to be patch notes on top of that. So, I mean, we'll see what those patch notes look like, but if, like, Genji, I think, is the one that I'm really, like, worried about. Is if Genji stays the same, then he's going to be just hard meta, I think, especially with those perks. I think Zarya is the other one that I feel like Zarya can be really scary if she doesn't get nerfed. Brig had another one that's really good. Where was Brig? The big one that really stood out to me is Inspire lasts 3 seconds longer when activated by Whip Shot. That's a minor perk, so she can just have Inspire up way more often.
Get Inspire as well.
Yeah, it's from the Whip Shot, so I think Whip Shot cooldown's 4 seconds too, right? It's not very long. It's like somewhere between like 4 and 6, I think. So it's like you're basically going to be able to Whip Shot people, keep Inspire up, and you're going to have like 100% Inspire uptime. If you're able to hit those whip shots.
That must be so annoying to dive.
I personally like Reinhardt Shield Bash.
He does Shield Bash now. I forgot about that. That's crazy.
But how does that work? Because, like, isn't it the...
While barrier field's active, use left click to damage and knock back enemies.
Oh, did they remove, like, the...
Probably not. But
what
it's just like...
to turn around?
Oh, yeah,
it's left click?
Yeah.
So it probably just does both. So it's probably if you click,
if you have,
then it does shield bashes, but if you click and hold, it shield bashes, but you can, you know what I mean? So I'd still use it.
Okay.
The barrier field healed for 100% of fire strike damage dealt is if you, like, hit a 5-man fire strike, then you do. Your shield is, like, halfway to full health now. So, I mean, yeah, a lot of these are interesting. But I guess we'll find out. My prediction is I think that none of the games are going to be for Week 4 are going to be before the patch, so that we're going to see those the next Week 4 games. So definitely are a lot of questions coming up soon, so it's going to be very interesting. So yeah, let me think. Do you guys want to make any predictions for next week, or you just want to jump straight into write that down?
I'm down to do either, and we can abstain from the predictions, like from next week, if we're going to have that be our write that down.
I think the way it's going right now is I think we spent a lot of time talking about the perks. I think we just jump in to write that down because we're already at over
Sounds
an hour.
good.
So, Riddle, would you like to give us the rundown of last week? pull up my soundboard real quick.
Chills, the soundboard.
Okay. According to Paninii, Kittens 2 make playoffs. We don't know. Shapeshifter War goes to EJ. We don't know. Myself, 2+ trades happen this season. We don't know. 2 winless teams this season. Possible. It's possible.
You never know.
I don't know how fish stack up, but I know that Blasters and Kittens don't face each other. So it's technically possible those two
the
at least.
Blasters Baboons play each other. I think the Fish play the Blasters too.
Yeah, but if the Blasters lose out and if the Kittens lose out, then that's possible.
Yeah.
Technically. War, there'll be exactly one team to go undefeated this season. We don't know. Pancha won MVP season 7. We don't know. Fire, talking about how we have a LAN this season. We don't know. Neptune, this season will have the most map 5s compared to any yet. We don't know. Blaha's will win grand finals. We don't know.
So
But there
none
is.
of them are have a result. So with
I feel
the
like
trades,
it's very
we're at
typical.
1, right?
Hmm?
We're at 1 trade right now, right? Razzmatazz for Topaz.
Yeah.
First, I don't know why. I thought there was another trade.
I mean, there's a
Did
lot
not-
of picks
did
traded.
not count the picks. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. We had some schemers on the pick trades, I'm not gonna lie.
True,
I was one of the
true.
schemers. I DM'd every captain.
Dude, I was one of the schemers too. I was so worried Fancy was gonna get taken, so I was like trying to trade up for someone, and I at some point I DM'd TC, and I'm like, give me your first overall pick so I could take Fancy, and then he still fell to 7, and I'm like, okay, whatever.
Yeah, I was gonna trade down, and I'm really glad I didn't, because like so many of my plans would have been ruined.
Yeah.
With the people that went.
Trade down equals win.
Unfortunately for Flambeau Jambo, he did not have any control over some of the picks around him.
Yeah, cool.
But, yeah, I know he really wanted a Kua, so he just got skipped. But, I mean, his team is also pretty good. Like, getting AST design and Yak is, like, a huge DPS line.
And having Rust go on them.
That team seems familiar.
True. So, Sonic, do you have your write that downs prepared?
I mean... No, but...
I mean, we can go first. Like, no, there's no harm. Yeah. Like,
I'll let first them.
Me go first?
Yeah.
Alright, for my first write that down, I've done a lot of disservice to this guy. This guy's only preyed on my downfall throughout the entire season, but I am gonna write that down that Toon Crater wins best captain.
That's a really interesting one. Best captain, I don't know who it's gonna go to yet.
Yeah, I don't know. I think this guy's locked in this season. I think, like, I don't know. Whoever's on the podcast, I think, or no, whoever's on the broadcast last night, I think it was Riddle, was talking about like captains who like go the extra mile and like make sure like their team is like, you know, there and in, you know, has a good chance to win. I think Toon Crater's done that in my opinion.
Yeah.
Just like off the first 3 weeks. Will he keep that up? I don't know. But I think he's done a great job so far. No slander to any of us on the broadcast or any other captains.
Yeah, rookie second season captain. Yeah, it's like I feel like we had a lot of questions about how he's going to be as captain going into the season, and I think he's so far has been very good.
Yeah, no, as Edmonds, we were worried about it. But...
You should have been. I would, for all good reasons, in my opinion.
I have not when to meet. Write that down, ready?
Yeah.
Ooh.
You have one or you don't have one? He's thinking, chat.
I will only. So this one's gonna have to do with captains not standing out when to meet. As well.
That's crazy, by the way.
Let's see. So week 4 was sent out. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4. I will only create 8 teams when to beat. One more week this regular season. Only one. So if it's like week 7, that actually no, let's go 2. I'll do 2. Only 2.
I will
regular
guarantee
season.
you that's not going to happen, and I'm going to make sure that
Yeah, it's
happens
because of you.
myself.
Yeah, buddy. Yeah, buddy boy. I'm
No
not
more
counting
winter
you.
meets for the Swagasaurus squad.
Oh, chills. We can all rig it, technically, right?
We could.
Yeah.
Except
Yeah, that's
Riddle
crazy.
can't
The
do
power.
anything about it.
I have 6 correct. Write that down.
And
Yeah,
how
but-
many does Panini have?
We don't want to talk about Panini's. Write that down.
Oh, and in 24 tries. Oh, crazy.
Yeah, I have 1 correct out of 22. Riddle is not Riddle. War is lying. My only correct, write that down so far, has been Roosters 3-0 Slouchers week 6.
Oh, that's so bad too.
I mean, I got it right. I had to take the easy one that was right in front of me, but let me look at some other ones that I thought were really interesting that I made. Ari wins Rookie of the Year season 6. That one I almost got. That was close.
Yeah, I think he should have got. Who won actually?
Season 6.
Mardox? Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
we had a lot of good rookies that season.
Yeah,
But...
yeah.
Panini does not win admin for season 7.
Oof. The Corsairs get 2nd overall. Ooh. Ugh. My worst one, the one that hurts me the most, is Panini will not have a guest for his Pirate Movie Night. I had exactly 1 guest, and it was HV Sec. Actually, I think Flambo Jambo joined, but he didn't. I don't think he said anything, and then he left later.
Which is like the worst of both worlds too, because usually you do these predictions to like, you know, get one or the other, right? You did that for like the Panini wins admin thing too, but you got the worst of both worlds with exactly 1 person showed up to Pirate Movie Night.
Really, yeah. I think I have a pretty good one. I'm gonna save that for my second. Write that down. My first one I think is a little bold. I'm gonna say for the remaining 3 games of week 3, they are all going to be sweeps. Every single one is gonna be a 3-0 game. So
Bad take.
Hey, I'm Mr. 1 in 22 for a reason. Hey, I gotta do the math real quick. What is that percentage?
So there's Isanagis, Coatis, there's silly geese, fish,
That
there's
is
sharks, freakus.
less than a 5% hit rate for me on my write that downs.
That's statistically significant, by the way.
Yeah. My second one I feel pretty good about getting though. I have one saved up in the chamber right now.
Okay.
Brad, do you have one?
Yeah, I think the Blow Highs and Basement Dwellers game is going to be a map 5.
Nice. When is that? Is that week 4?
That's week 4.
Yeah. That would be a good game.
Thank
I
you
will
for
say.
giving me the thumbnail war. War.
Oh yes, I'm up again.
Wait, hold on.
Wait,
we can keep talking about Brad's if we want, because I know Panita's. Let's talk about.
I'm not gonna say who wins, but I think it's gonna be a map 5.
Yeah, I think that being a
like it.
close game makes a lot of sense. Right now they are 1st and 2nd in the standings, so I think that's gonna be a good game. That is another one that I'm gonna really try to get prodded. I think we've been doing really good. I think there's only been like, just not even in terms of like officially prodded games. I think they have all been like recorded.
We've had like dire casts too. Shout out to Dire
yeah.
being able to stream and prod stuff, even though he isn't playing in the league
gets
this
credit.
season.
I see we have about 20 people in chat right now, so I'm gonna say this again. I think I've said this before. If you want a couch cast, please let me know. We are happy with Dire doing that, because sometimes we will have days like tomorrow and days like that one day, week 1, where you have like 6 or 7 games on the same, not 6 or 7, like 5 or 6 games on the same day. So if you don't want to do like a full, you don't want to like get all like sweaty and try hard for the prods. If you just want to watch the game in 3rd person and just talk about it and then stream it to your personal channel, let me know. And then we can record that, put it on the YouTube channel.
It's like I usually said when I started couch casting. I think it was season 5.5 of Go Frotch or season 1 of Aurora. Any coverage is good coverage with stuff like that. I just want to see like VODs. I just want to see, even if you're just hanging out, chilling. If you look back at my old couch cast, you have a whole bunch of freaking pictures everywhere. Fudge Hog reaction, Wochien reaction, stuff like that. So it's just chill. I know Dire likes to sort of hype up a lot of stuff, and Booney does his Booney SPN hype sort of stuff. So even if you're just watching out, this ARI cast would feed families. So do it.
Yes, I agree.
Do it. Make it happen. I can show you exactly if you want to set up your Streamlabs. I can show you how to do that. Just DM me and I'll help you out.
Or you just stream the game and also literally just have like a text box at the bottom that just says 0-1 or something. You literally
Otherwise,
can have as much as you want or as little as you want, as long as you're just sort of streaming the game and not being crazy toxic.
Yeah, don't say slurs, please.
Yeah, no slur slinging.
oh dang, I can't couch cast anymore. God dang it, guys. It's crazy.
Yeah, I wanna throw some more shade at RiddleDog. There was one game, I wanna say it was either season 3
He's
or season
gonna say
4.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Probably.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
I think it was season 3. I think it was season 3. It was like
it's season 2, I think.
Maybe. I don't remember exactly what game it was, but I remember there was some game.
It's your game.
I know, but I don't remember who we were playing or what team I was on. But we were playing on Hollywood. I specifically remember it was Hollywood, and I was so excited. I was like, I had this really good play. I really hope they got out of the cast. And I open up the cast after the game is over, and I'm like, let's see what RiddleDog has to think about it. And it's a big tier list of the animals he thinks he could beat in a fight. I wish
it's like
I
so
I gotta
epic.
find that somewhere.
It's a really good tier list, and we should continue to talk about it in future casts and podcasts and stuff because it's really funny. But I would be talking about it, and like in between the maps, I'd have it up so you could actually see it. But I forgot to turn it up for part of it as well. So.
And then I got like a.
Wasn't there like a? I could have sworn there was like a muffin tier list or whatever. Because I remember like a very long time ago. Was that what I'm thinking of? I remember Muffin was like helping out with
Muffin might have been there actually. Now that I'm thinking about it, because I think it was.
Did he do like a type of Muffin tier list? I don't know.
I mean, he did a tier list in the MVP interview.
Oh yeah.
So. Maybe.
That's my MVP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even if you're chilling or doing anything, then any content's good content. Even if it's just like on your personal channel as well, like Dyer does.
Yeah.
As long as you're able to give me like the editor role on the channel, I can download it easy.
Yeah. So who's next for write that down?
Back to me, or we're doing a snake thing? Me?
Yeah, sure. You.
Okay. I'm gonna do a boom. This next prediction is gonna be a boom prediction, okay? But my prediction, write that down. Week 2 of season 7. So like, it's already happened. Will be the closest week in all of season 7 of Aurora Esports. So basically, there were 3 2s, 3-2 score lines. There was 1 3-0 score line. Yeah. I think that's gonna be the closest it's gonna be.
So you're saying like you add up all the wins and losses?
Yeah, you add up. Well, yeah, it's just differential between the wins and the losses, right? I think that's gonna have the lowest differential.
Playoffs included or no?
No, not playoffs included because the numbers don't work there. Because if it's just grand finals, it will just like always win if it's a.
Oh yeah, but I'm just saying like quarters.
Yeah.
Week 1
of like the regular season weeks. Yep.
Week 1 was 1 shy. So it was right there too. Interesting.
I don't know. I did some statistics on the other seasons before I made this prediction, and it's actually like week 1 and week 2 are some of the closest weeks, and then like it's usually the last week, or that's like the next like highest one. But I looked at the last week this season, and I'm like, I don't think that's gonna be the closest one in my opinion. That's my take. So why not?
I can see that.
Why not roll the dice? Why not say something else? Something silly.
So Riddle, what's yours?
Let's do an award thing because I have no clue what else to do. Let's see the sacred text to see what awards there are.
I'm looking at your pred thing. I think it's gonna be week 7.
You think it's gonna be week 7?
Week 7 looks like it's gonna be a good week for matches.
I think it's more likely to be week 8, if anything. I kind of disagree with the week 7 take, in my opinion. I think that, I don't know, there's some teams that I think are like close. that you think are close, but I don't think are close on week 7, in my opinion.
Of the current winless teams right now, they are all playing each other week 7. I just realized. Baboons versus Kittens, Baja Blasters versus Fish.
That's funny. This is hard. Do you want to go Paninii, or do you want to save yours to last?
I'll go. Well,
Okay.
Sonic is gonna go last because we're gonna have to loop around. But
Oh, right.
I'm gonna keep going with my stats. I think 95% or more of matches will have their stats tracked.
Oh, I think that's a lock, including playoffs.
Yeah, including playoffs.
Well, you're sort of just trying to make it your lifelong goal this season to make sure they are tracked.
Yeah.
He wants to get he wants to double his correct.
Really double my
You know?
correct.
I'm gonna die trying to make Panini
Plus.
not be able to get that.
Well, if you don't host your games, it's not gonna matter. What would that be?
Dude,
4,
I'm not
5,
letting you in. I'm
6,
not letting you into the lobby,
7,
bro. Even if you're
7,
ringing, I'm denying you as a ringer from now on.
60. What would that be? 0.95 times 63. So I can only miss 4 games. If there are 4 games that are missed, that has to be below 95 for the threshold.
Wait, no,
Really?
no, it's not 63. It's technically including playoffs too, right?
Yeah, so it'd be 63
no?
including playoffs. It's 56
Oh,
if you don't
it would
include
be.
playoffs, yeah.
Gotcha.
So I can only miss
56.
4 stats. And if I
Yes,
miss
that's
more
right.
than that,
Okay.
I lose.
I don't think you missed 5.
I don't. I hope I don't.
With how you're going right now.
I know. Originally, my goal was 90. I was like, I bet I'm gonna hit 90. I'm gonna try to hit 90%. And then the fact that like I think 2.5 weeks in, I'm like, have gotten all of them so far. I also want to give a bit. Let me go through and give some shout outs real quick of people who have sent me stats. Flambo Jambo, Strudel, Charbotron, EJ, Booney, Nuttier. Let me see. Booney, Strudel, EJ. Let me see. Maybe that's it. Hopefully, I'm not forgetting anyone. But yeah, there's been like a lot of people that they've been very good about sending it right after the game, so I do really appreciate that for everyone that's been sending me stats. Paige has been doing it too. Yep. So.
And you gotta stop doing that, guys. We cannot let Panini get another prediction. We cannot let him get another prediction.
Wouldn't it be so cool if you see everyone's stats being tracked and you see a perfect picture of everyone's damage and final blows? Wouldn't that be so nice?
Well, hopefully they don't glitch like Clash did in our week 1.
Yeah.
That
I
wasn't
think
a glitch.
that was user error because we were supposed to manually change the tank health pools to match 5v5 instead of 6v6, or so it was something like that, and instead we just did it on comp rules and that messed it up. But I think that's the only one. I think all the other ones have been good. So yeah, Riddle, do you have yours?
Yeah. I feel like I can't make a guess on any of the awards because I ultimately choose the
True.
Yeah, you can't.
Except for MVP, so I'm guessing MVP. I'm gonna say that Melon wins MVP this season.
Spicy. I like it.
I could see it.
I could see that too.
Yeah.
I can see the team doing well enough, and I would guess that BBQ would nominate Melon. I mean, obviously, stuff is very subject to change, and especially with how he decides to do it. And I think Melon's popular enough. They're really into the community, really nice, everything. So,
but you never know when somebody could just break 2 arms out of nowhere.
That's true. That's a good point.
Yeah, is he coming in?
Well, no, I'm just saying Melon could break 2 arms out of nowhere, you know? Like
I thought you were gonna say Skycer's coming in breaking 2 arms again. People are gonna vote for him.
Well, no. If Skycer breaks 2 arms again and like still plays, like give this guy MVP for like everything, bro. Like
Yeah,
I'll give him
you gotta
Commissioner's
nominate
Award.
him.
Dude, I would.
Commissioner's Award.
Skycer, if you're hearing this, break both your arms
We
again.
gotta get Skyster on the scooter.
For Baja.
NAU pavement will do that to him.
And then Sonic, you're the only one that hasn't done your second one, right?
Yeah. Can I do a Pokemon one?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Go right
What's
ahead.
going on right now too?
Write that down. Dane's team wins the Pokemon League.
Ooh, nice.
I don't even know who Dane is.
Dane's from,
He's an old pal of mine at Brad's.
yeah,
They're
he's from
number one right now,
Farmington.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it's
So
not
it's
that
sorta
hot
like
of a
not-
take. Yeah, but
Really good at Pokemon.
Whose team is the Wrecked Cactus team?
Shimonic Shanks.
They're not
Yeah.
as good as I really want Wrecked Cactus to win Pokemon. I think I've said this multiple times on the cast, but I want someone to have won League of Legends, Overwatch, and Pokemon in Aurora, and I think Wrecked Cactus is the only one that has 2 of those so far.
Mm-hmm.
that would be big.
But yeah. You guys have anything else? It's already been an hour and a half. Okay, go.
Oh.
Blah. Overrides
God.
again.
I should have brought the Sea Dragon thing that you gave me.
You should have.
I got the red panda there.
Yeah, I have it at Farmington. I didn't bring it up to college.
I don't have a dinosaur. I have an alligator.
Dude, you got to get on that.
I got a 3D print one or something.
Yeah.
I have a wooden frog.
That's not a dinosaur.
Mm.
what
It's got
was I gonna
spikes
say?
like one.
If it is a Swagasaur.
You're gonna
Might
probably say something profound like, tune in for our next 3 matches.
Tune in
For
next 3
these
matches Friday.
Somalian silly geese.
Tomorrow on Saturday, I mean.
Yeah.
Tomorrow, yeah, that's whatever. What I did said the wrong
Yeah.
thing. Saturday again, 6. There's one at 6. There's 2 at 9 and 9:15. We're gonna try to have some sort of cast on all those. But yeah. So, you guys have anything else? Any other announcements or anything you wanted to bring up real quick?
Not really.
Okay. But yeah, I guess that does it for the stream. We're gonna try to do it every 3 weeks. Surely this time it'll last.
Barely.
It's I'm gonna make it a us versus the power rankings thing now. It's like we have to get our podcast in before the power rankings have their meeting.
Well, but you can just rank it before some of the games finish. Like power rankings can't happen right now and after.
That's a good
game.
point. We could do that too.
Yeah.
So.
But yeah, thank you guys again for watching. We'll see you next.